Hi, ladies. How's it going? Yeah, I know you don't love chicken jail. I'm really sorry about that. I'm sharing a cherry tomato from the garden with them. So I haven't had time to cover this, and I may do a separate video on this, but we'll just talk about real quick why our ladies are in chicken jail. It's through no fault of their own. It's for witness protection, actually. Say 2 weeks ago now, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had 2 predator attacks during the day, which is the first time that's ever happened for us. And they were, I think, 2 or 3 days apart. So something bad happened, a day or 2 went by, and then it happened again while we were letting the girls free range. So obviously that was very frustrating, very upsetting. Both times it happened between 4 and 5 p.m. each of those days, and the weather was perfect, sunny, a little bit too warm on the warm side. But it was like normal warm summer weather, and that's the time of day. The turkeys heard me talking, and they're like, "Mom," because they're obsessed with me. Anyway, we could not figure out, and still have not figured out what's doing it. It could be a fox or a couple of foxes, or it could be some coyotes going rogue during the day. The fox seems to be the most likely culprit, but again, we just really don't know. And we've never had coyotes come this close to the house. We can see them out in the woods kind of with your naked eye, but certainly with binoculars, but we've never had them approach and be really close to the house. Right, guys? Yeah. The fact that it was 2 chickens each time, because initially we thought, okay, could have been a hawk or eagle. We do have eagles. But I think it was something that was hunting in a pair, or we both think that anyway. There were 2 piles of feathers each time it happened, just a few feet apart. And in one case, we could see the trail of feathers where something was probably biting at it, picking at it as it ran off with it, and or the chicken was probably struggling to try to get away. And we would follow the trail of feathers, and it kind of just led nowhere. Now, we did find one of the chickens in a certain part of the woods by trying to follow those feathers, and it seemed to be right outside of some kind of den hole. It was a tree that fell over just this spring, actually, so it was in the roots of the tree and then down into the ground. But my husband tore that up with a tractor. He also put a smoke bomb down there just to kind of smoke out. What's happening over here? Are we stealing food from her or helping her clean her beak, or what's going on? Anyway, nothing came out of that hole, so it could just be that it heard him coming and it took off and just didn't come back. All of those things just make us think that it was a fox. But again, we have no confirmation. We've set several different types of traps. Nothing is getting caught in the traps. We've just got nothing. Now, we do have a surplus of raccoons again this year. We have trapped several raccoons. But again, they tend to come out between 11:30 and midnight and start messing with our stuff around here. They're very obvious on camera. They're kind of slow moving when they don't know they're being watched anyway. And they're really easy to capture. They will get caught in the traps, and then we just address them from there. It's just been a frustrating time with that situation, and so we lost 4 chickens in 1 week to a daytime predator. And the first time it happened was really strange because I had been out here from like 4 to 4:15, and then we came out at 5 to go somewhere, and we found the feather piles. And then later at night confirmed missing chickens, you know, with the coop at night and knowing which chickens we have, how many we have, and then what, you know, the pile of feathers look like. Obviously you can tell what kind of chicken it was. So we lost one of these beautiful girls, the Mystic Moran, black and white. It looks kind of spotted, but they're not exactly spotted. We lost, not this Orpington girl, but we lost one of these, which is Diamond something. I have Diamond Duchess and Diamond Daisy, and they're very similar. So we lost one of those. Then we lost one of the original 4 sisters back there of the Rhode Island Reds that we rescued from that family member of a family member. So we had kept 4 of those Rhode Island Reds, and one of those didn't make it. And the other one, I can't remember if that was one of these this other type of black chicken with the iridescent blue-green feathers. But yeah, unfortunately, all the chickens that we lost were new chickens. 2 of them had already started laying eggs, or had just started laying eggs, so that's frustrating to lose a new layer. But also, it does make me think the fact that they're new, this is their first few months of life on Earth, they don't fully know to look for predators, and we don't have a rooster now. And I do believe that if we'd had a rooster out in the yard, because that's a big part of what he does during the day, that is his job, and a good rooster will be looking for that, alerting when there's predators, would have caused all the hens to run, and he would have tried to fight off the predator himself. And even if he weren't successful and he passed away very chivalrously, that would have been his job. That would have been his ultimate purpose fulfilled, I guess, in that case. Unfortunately, it was a learning situation for the girls that didn't make it. Now, on an exciting note, and I'll include a little video clip as well, but the Mystic Morans, which is that black and white one there, they finally started laying this week, the two that I have left, or they started laying last week rather, and they lay the dark chocolate brown egg, which I'm so excited for. That was one of the colors that I wanted in my collection, and I've bought chickens before that were supposed to lay the dark brown egg, and they did not. They just laid a normal tan colored egg. So that's been a lot of fun getting to do the chocolate brown eggs this week. That's what's going on here on this end of the coop and run with all of the older, younger ladies, if you will. I want to show you something else on the inside of the coop in just a moment. Now, before we go look at the inside of the coop, we'll just say that these two are doing great. We have a Tom. I don't know how old they have to be a Tom, so he's at least a Jake. I mean, he's huge. He does not look like a Jake any longer, but anyway, a Tom and a hen. They're doing fine. She's horrendous at pecking. Like, she's trying to right now, and I'm walking backwards just to stay away from her, but then they keep following me. He is very sweet, and he's been doing his strut, and that has been fun to watch. They still sleep outside at night, and I'm pretty sure they probably watch the chicken attacks happen. Nobody wants to mess with these two because of how big they are and probably how scary they look to certain other predators. Look at that. She's literally hen pecking him too. Girl. Nobody likes it. Not even your man. Please quit. Oh my goodness. Anyway, they're doing fine. They're wonderful but annoying. I think we are back to deciding our original plan, which is to butcher. Okay, well, you know, this is real life. She's all the way in the back. You can't see anything back there inside the brooder area or the quarantine area that we have in our coop. But we have a broody hen, and it's the same hen that went broody last year, and she would not stop. We took her egg away from her every day for 2 weeks, and of course she wouldn't snap out of it. She was also taking up residence in the favorite nesting box over here on the ground. So we had the idea to go ahead and just get a few more existing chicks from the store. They were on sale. They typically are at this time of year. And we did that just before we had the incidents out in the yard, because I was really worried. I'm like, oh, I don't want 4 more chicks, and yeah, they'll be fine going into winter and such, and they probably won't really lay a whole lot of eggs because it's going to be winter by the time they're grown, but that'll be fine. I just don't want too many chickens. Well, nature intervened, and no, you need to stop escaping, Carrot. Man, you're a handful, I'll tell you what. Yep, good plan. Go do that. No, don't try to jump over my head. Listen, you're in here for your own good. It's for your safety. So we did that, and we tried the method of putting them under her at night, and it went well. That can go very poorly, however, because the broody hen can recognize that they're not her babies and that she didn't hatch those, etc., and she could peck them to death. But she did really well. I can't go in there and hold the door open and have light, so otherwise I would open that little door so we could see them all. But I'll try to catch them on another day so you can kind of see.
So tuck it up close to her.
Tuck it up close. Oh.
She sees them.
She might call.
See what she does. Hopefully she doesn't peck them like the ones last time. I don't know what to do.
She's such a good mom. She's such a good mom.
She is a good
She's got a
mom.
proud mother now. She's like, where is my other
She's like, get over here.
Look at her. She's like, get over here.
There's one right there. Come on, Chickie. Come on out. I think they've been with her about 2 weeks now. And we did a trial run of letting them out the other day so they could be out here and then, of course, go out in the run. And that didn't go well. They're still pretty small. And one of the other chickens was pecking and bullying them, I guess. So, ma'am, you don't understand. I'm trying to save your life. Would you please just stay in here? Stop trying to leave. Okay, that's our chicken updates for the day. So while we're out here, let's just talk for a minute about why we're back to butchering with these guys and I no longer want them as pets. So they were supposed to be meat birds. Then we fell in love with them and realized they really loved us. And they do have a different personality than chickens. They want to be with us. They want to come in the house. They want to cuddle. They think they're part of us. So even though they're a lot bigger, they're more docile in some ways. However, a couple things. I realized if we did that, he was going to need more hens, right? So then I looked up how many should a turkey have, and I was hopeful and thankful to learn it's not as many as a rooster. But the minimum would be 5, right? So we have her. We would need to then get 4 more hens. So that would be 6 turkeys just following us around the yard all the time. So it was kind of just that number of turkeys, and you can't just keep them as pets without some kind of plan for them for their own sakes in some cases. I mean, I think you'd be better off doing that with hens if you wanted to, and maybe doing that with a couple. Because here's the thing, these two eat a lot. Of course they do, right? They're just a bigger bird. They have more food needs. While they're free-ranging and they're certainly eating a lot outside, they still seem to eat a lot of chicken feed. So the feed cost is up right now for 2. Can you imagine if I had 6? I didn't want to deal with that. The other thing is she really does peck incessantly. I don't know if turkeys can have OCD, but she's got something like that going on. She's not aggressive about it. Like right now you can see she's not behaving aggressively. Neither one of them are. But she will peck at toes, tops of shoes. She will peck at your thighs. She'll peck at your behind. She'll peck at whatever she can reach, your fingers, you know, the stuff that hurts. And it hurts. She's a big bird with a big beak, and she kind of pecks very forcefully. So she's got a bad habit that I have no idea how to break her of, and I do not have the time to sort that out right now. So we've got the issue of having to house more birds to go with these two, the feed costs that would be, the fact that she doesn't have the best habits, and then here's the final nail in the coffin for these two, so to speak, the poop. So I keep telling everyone it's like 2 turkeys has been worse than 21 chickens that we did have. How? I don't know. I mean, I do know, I've learned. But the how is that they're so huge. The poops are just bigger. And sometimes they look more like chicken poop, just a bigger version of chicken poop. So it's this nice, tight little round, balled up thing on the ground. But many other times, it's diarrhea. And I'm sure someone's going to say, well, there's something wrong with them, or it's something they ate. Yeah, I'm sure. Any number of those things. But again, I don't have time to manage a whole new set of situations here for these birds. But yeah, the poop is massive when it's the diarrhea kind. It's massive. And even if it's not, it's everywhere. And because they're free-ranging now the way that they are, the way that we've allowed them to, and because they are obsessed with us, you don't even want to know what our deck looks like. Then they're pooping on the sidewalk up to the house. They're pooping on the front step. They roost on the deck most nights. Sometimes they attempt to roost on the front steps. We'll put a stop to that when we see it happening. But they're just, a whole different bird, right? A whole other animal. It's been a great learning experience, and it's been fun having them. But they are costly. I do better understand now why it costs like $40 to $60 to buy a turkey at Thanksgiving in the store. Even at that cost, I'm not sure the farmers are making very much, by the way, because of the length of time that you raise them and how much you spend in feed. Referring to that meat bird example, we started with 25 birds, ended up with 21, raised them quick in 2 months' time, and then you're butchering. These guys, you keep them for 5 months, and they get a whole lot bigger. So that means that's more time that you're caring for them, and certainly more feed that you're putting into them for the length of time you have them, but also because they're a bigger bird, they just need more feed, and they're going to grow bigger because that's what they're supposed to do. We decided we probably won't do turkeys again anytime soon. For us, it's just not cost effective, and just all of the other maintenance that seems to come with them. I know that a lot of people try to keep them in an enclosure and then put like a temporary fence around the enclosure and then make that fence movable so that they have a little bit of fresh ground every now and then. And maybe that is how we should have free ranged them. But once we kind of let them out, that whole first week we kept trying to wrangle them back in every night because we're like, oh, they're not like chickens. They don't just choose to go back inside. They don't just know to do that. They have no desire to do that. So now they're not even using the enclosure that was in part made for them. We will use that enclosure for other things, of course, but they're not even using it. They just literally live outside in the elements. They slept through 5 thunderstorms in one night. They've slept through other thunderstorms on multiple occasions. Too hot, too cold, whatever it is, they're just out in it and they're fine. They're happy with that. All that to say, it's been a slightly fun but very interesting learning experience having turkeys, but I think we'll skip that next time and try a different animal. All right, guys, we are going to stop it here and say goodbye, and we will see you next time. Please like, subscribe, share this video with someone that you think might want to watch it. And we will see you next time.